hosts. I'm Diane Bortoletto.
And I'm Monique Ciccardo.
Let's do it.
Hello, and welcome to And Away We Go F1 podcast, a Formula One podcast that goes beyond the track limit to talk about travel, food, and lifestyle surrounding the sport. I'm Diane Bortoletto, your pre-Drive to Survive Formula One fan, and today I'm in Margaret River.
And I'm Monique Ciccardo, your post-Drive to Survive fan. And today I'm sitting at the cabin in a place called Hunadalen in the mountains of southwestern Norway.
Hunadalen, it sounds like a yodeling. Hunadalen.
It actually means like Dog Valley. So I'm currently in Dog Valley.
And it's very beautiful. I've seen the photos that you've put up on Instagram. Lovely.
It is. But it's very nice to be here.
So we're in the middle of the summer break in the Formula One season. So there's been no racing for 2 weekends now. I'm ready for a race weekend, and we've still got another 2 weeks to go.
Do you know, sitting out here at the cabin at the moment, all I could think was, God damn, I wish it was a race weekend, because it's so nice being up here and watching a race up here. And
I know it's a weird calendar because we had that 2 week break and then 2 races, and now, you know, the summer holidays. Speaking of summer holidays, all the drivers, obviously, and team bosses are doing what is prescribed, which is total shutdown for 14 days, according to the FIA. It's a mandatory holiday.
I mean, good on them.
No, it is good. I mean, it's a really long calendar, like 24 races in a year. It's a good thing that they're forced to take a break. Yes, a needed reset.
Have you been following where they've been going and what they're doing?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, seems like if you don't have a super yacht, you're the odd one out.
I know. Everyone is on a super yacht this year. And I have just come back from a week in Croatia on a small luxury cruise, which is basically like a super yacht with Unforgettable Croatia. Amazing. Highly recommend. But I was like so certain that I would see someone from the Formula One paddock cruising around, you know, these lovely islands, but I didn't see a single person. They like to stay to themselves, I think.
Yeah, I guess if you're somewhat of a profile of a Formula One driver or a massive celebrity, then, you know, a super yacht is the perfect choice for a holiday, isn't it? Because you can move whenever you want. It's private, so you're not having to mix with the great unwashed. You're not being harassed by the public all the time asking for autographs and selfies.
What? We'd never do that.
It's get tiring though. If you just want to go out for dinner and have a meal or something, and your dinner's always interrupted with people like, "Oh, can I have a selfie? Sorry to interrupt. Can you please sign this? Oh, I'm a big fan." That'd get pretty boring pretty quick.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, a super yacht is privacy galore. I do think, though, that I might have seen Esteban Ocon. Not seen him, but I think I saw. This is a wild stab here, because I saw him put up photos on his Instagram of the super yacht that he was on, and there was a dinner set up there. And one night when we were I think it was in Šibenik or Split, we walked past this incredible super yacht, and they were setting up the most beautiful dinner on the back of this super yacht. And it really, really looks like the setup that Esteban had in his photos. And I was trying to work out from the photos if he could have been in Croatia, but I couldn't tell, because a lot of these places, when they don't tag where they are, look very similar to each other. But Esteban Ocon has been on a super yacht just recently.
He did tag Mero's yacht sharing in that post, so you can have a share of a yacht. So I'm guessing whether he's promoting them, so maybe a borrowed yacht. So it might have been the same boat. It could have been anyone on board, I guess. But,
I'm going to say it was Esteban when I walked past.
Why not?
I'm just going to say that. So, But yeah. And I did also see some fabulous Instagram stories. I think it was on Kelly Piquet's Instagram, of Max on like a water scooter with Penelope on the back.
Oh, yeah.
So again, he has been on a super yacht in Sardinia, as we have worked out, and he was with
Toto Wolff on a super yacht together. So that's the second time this year that they've been spotted. Allegedly, the photo that was posted was taken just the day before you know, always got to take these things with a pinch of salt because you just don't know what's real, what's fake in this AI era that we're in at the moment.
Yeah. So both Toto and Max have been in Sardinia. Actually, there was someone else that was in, Max and Toto were in Sardinia, and someone else, Charles Leclerc was in Sardinia as well. So not together though, but Charles on a super yacht again.
Yes. I saw Charles
in Sardinia.
in Saint-Tropez as well, on land. Yeah, that was one of the posts that I saw.
So he's been doing the round.
Did you see Charles Leclerc in the kilt for Chivas Regal? A promotion that Chivas Regal, because he's an ambassador or got a partnership with the Scotch whiskey brand, Chivas Regal, and they posted a photo of Charles Leclerc in a kilt, and it just, I mean, you know, like he could wear a paper bag and still look good, but it was very kind of weird and jarring for me to see a Monegasque in a Scottish kilt. It just looked strange. Yeah.
Interesting. No, I didn't see that. I only saw a wonderful photo of him on the back of a super yacht on a sun lounger with Leo on the other. His dog.
Yeah.
It was very, very cute.
Yeah.
But I feel like Sardinia seems like the place to go because this is the third time it's kind of come up in the last, like, let's say 4 weeks, because we saw Max and Toto there a few weeks ago before it was confirmed that Max was staying at Red Bull.
Exactly.
We've now got Max and Toto, whether they're together or not, in Sardinia again, and Charles Leclerc. So maybe next year I'm going to try and book a summer holiday to Sardinia. I've never been.
Oh, it is so beautiful, Sardinia. It is. I mean, you've been to Rottnest Island, so you know how.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Stunning those beaches are at Rottnest Island. I remember when I first moved to Perth and I went to Rottnest Island, my jaw dropped because I was like, this is like Sardinia, but it is 20 kilometres off the coast of Perth and half an hour by ferry. I don't need to fly to Sardinia for these beautiful beaches, but you do need to fly to Sardinia for the beautiful beaches and the bars and the style and the food. So
yes,
a different kind of full package. But Sardinia, I have been twice. And both times working for the Rally of Sardinia, which is in Olbia, not a very picturesque town at all, but that's where the Rally headquarters was. But it was near Costa Smeralda, the Emerald Coast, which is just beautiful. Think crystal clear water, white sandy beaches, calm bays.
As it says on the box.
Exactly. I've been to Cagliari, which is right in the south of the island, twice as well. Again, beautiful, just beautiful. And inland Sardinia, so the Sardinians, they're very different to Italians. The difference is greater between Sardinians and Italians, or Sardi, as they say in Italian, and Italians. It's a bigger difference than it is from Sicilians and Italians. So
yes, yeah.
Their culture, their language, their food, a lot of sheep cheese, sheep products. One of the great Sardinian dishes is they're like little dumplings, pasta dumplings, usually stuffed with kind of a potato mint cream. Sometimes served with a fresh tomato basil sauce. They're very typical of Sardinia. And also typical of Sardinia is botarga, which is sounds disgusting. It's a dried fish roe, and it comes in a hard kind of block, and you grate it, usually over pasta or in a pasta sauce, a bit like when you're using anchovies to give that kind of depth of flavour. You use botarga for that as well, and it is really delicious, like a simple pasta with cherry tomatoes, some pesto, some anchovy garlic, all cooked together with lots of olive oil, and you just shave some botarga in it and then over the top. Just delicious, and it's expensive. It's not very cheap.
I've had a conversation with someone, and I can't remember who it was. It was a fellow travel writer. They had been to Sardinia and they loved Sardinia, but they're very much on a crusade to, I guess, educate people that Sardinia isn't just the Emerald Coast, And everyone thinks of that when they think of Sardinia. But then when you get to maybe your less picturesque towns, like you mentioned, it's very arid and rocky and not at all what you would picture when you see those beautiful beaches.
Yeah, it's because Sardinia was attacked and invaded lots and lots of times over history. So the people of Sardinia lived inland and they were sheep graziers was what a lot of them did, which is why there's a lot of pecorino, like sheep's cheese, in Sardinia. They weren't beach dwellers, coastal dwellers traditionally because that was an unsafe place for them to live. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. And now we all go to Sardinia and populate their beaches for them.
Yeah. Well, one of my favourite things about Sardinia is its bread. And their famous bread is called pane carasau, which means sheet of music. And it's really, think of a pita bread, but super thin and single layer pita bread. And it's just dry and hard. So if you put a pita bread in the oven, you get a similar kind of effect. It goes crispy. And it's usually just with salt and rosemary on it. And they put it in the middle of the table and there's like layers of pane carasau and someone normally sticks their finger in the middle and cracks the bread and you just, eat it with a sauce with what you're eating. It's quite fine, so it doesn't really hold dips and stuff. It cracks a lot, but I just eat it like chips. It's just...
Yeah, I was going to say more of a standalone kind of thing to eat. Well, speaking of Sardinia and Sardinian food and all great things Sardinian, apparently drivers don't like to stray too far from Sardinia because I saw that Alex Albon was in Corsica, which is just above Sardinia.
Yes.
So we're in a very similar kind of area. And did you ever get to go over to Corsica while you're in Sardinia?
No, I didn't make it to Corsica. No. Corsica's France. I stayed in Italy.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because these two islands, they're so close together when you look at them on the map. And they're kind of like in the top little corner, I guess, like of the coastline where it changes from Monaco into Italy. It kind of sits up in there, but one of the islands is French and one of the islands is Italian.
Yeah, so, smack bang in the middle of the Mediterranean.
Yeah, Alex Albon has been, again, on a super yacht around Corsica. They're not very fond of tagging where they've been, but it's interesting when they do. Alex has tagged it, and to be honest, when you look at the photos, you wouldn't really be able to tell whether he was in Corsica or in Croatia or in Greece, because a lot of these places tend to look slightly similar when you're only looking when you're only looking at beaches and kind of like coastal parts.
Did you see Kimi Antonelli in Sardinia being a DJ?
No, I didn't. Oh my gosh, how cute.
The clip that I saw was just of him at the DJ and someone introducing him and the crowd going wild and him, lapping up all the attention.
So he was in Sardinia too?
Yeah, yep. Well, especially the north of Sardinia, there's a place called La Maddalena, and that is the holiday spot for the rich and famous. A lot of celebrities go there. Flavio Briatore used to have a place there back when I was working for the World Rally Championship. Not sure if he still does. Flavio was also spotted on a super yacht with none other than F1 boss Stefano Domenicali. So
I saw that, and I find this really interesting. So apparently they've been friends for many, many, many years because they're both Italian. And I get that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But does this friendship have anything to do with the fact that this lifetime ban from Formula One has been lifted for Flavio?
Well,
I don't know if it was a lifetime ban.
It was a lifetime ban, and then that got overturned in court. He's still marred with that controversy of, asking a driver to crash so another driver could win. That was Fernando Alonso. It was a long time ago when he asked, I think it was Nelson Piquet Jr. to crash, which enabled Fernando Alonso, his other driver, to win. So it was a big, massive.
That is, yes. So yes. Do you think that his friendship had anything to do with that, or am I just?
No, I mean that was overturned a long time ago. Before.
Okay.
Yeah, long we're talking maybe a year after he was given the lifetime ban, less than a year, when it was appealed and overturned.
Okay.
Yes.
So him being mates and holidaying with Stefano has nothing to do with the fact that he's now back in Formula One. Okay, I've cleared that up.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And given that they've both been involved in Formula One for a million years, then, you can understand why that they're friends, right?
Yeah. And they're both Italian.
Yeah, that's right. The motorsport circle is small. The motorsport circle in Italy is small. The motorsport circle of Italians in Formula One is even smaller. So I can see how they're friends, but no, I really don't think that his return to Formula One had anything to do with Stefano.
And where were they holidaying?
Don't know. It was on a super yacht, and
shock horror.
Yeah, exactly. Who's the odd one out?
Do you know who the odd one out is?
Who?
No,
Lewis.
Definitely not George Russell.
Lewis Hamilton was the odd one out. So Lewis Hamilton, not on a super yacht, but seen spending lots
somewhere
of quality.
Very green.
Somewhere very green, somewhere very hilly, probably the UK. Not sure, but somewhere with his dog Roscoe. So he was spending a lot of quality time with his BFF.
Yeah. I love how prominent a lot of these Formula One dogs are in the summer holidays as well. It's really nice.
It's so nice.
And I did notice when I saw Hamilton's post, I was like, oh, this is quite the departure from, sun, super yachts, water. He was the only one that was like Lewis and Pierre Gasly.
Oh,
Gasly is currently, he's like at a, not currently, we don't know how, delayed their posts are, but he was at some cool looking villa with this really cool black, red and yellow tiled pool that overlooked some water somewhere. So it looked very like Southeast Asian, the kind of vegetation and the water, but that seems a little bit out of place for the summer holidays. Everyone's in Europe.
Lando Norris and Gabriel Bortoleto were pictured in Ibiza. And I've seen other posts of Lando in Ibiza with his girlfriend.
He was reportedly in Amsterdam again, so he likes partying in Amsterdam, doesn't he? Hopefully he stayed out of trouble this time.
Yeah. I wonder. Yeah. And Liam Lawson wasn't on a super yacht either. He was seen in California.
There you go. Interesting. Oh, and, slightly adjacent, was once a driver. I have on very good authority that Kevin Magnussen has been out partying in his home country, in his home city. I've seen some funny photos of him. But he's been out celebrating. Did you see? Oh my God, I don't think it was this summer, like these summer holidays. I think it was in the 2-week break that they had earlier. Hulkenberg took Noemi, his daughter, out to Italy, and there's the cutest video of her driving like a not a toy car, but like I guess the fairground kind of cars, and he's sitting in there with her, letting her drive, and he's like, "She can drive now."
Cute.
It was so cute, seeing him with his kid like that. It was very, very sweet. So it looks like they're all having the most wonderful time. I mean, as if you wouldn't have the most wonderful time when you're on a super yacht in the middle of the Mediterranean. Like,
But speaking of kids and cute, you probably saw Oscar Piastri's post that he's now an ambassador for My Room, the children's cancer charity. And he met this sick little kid called Cruz at the Australian Grand Prix. He's become an ambassador now for My Room Children's Charity. So that was his post during the summer break. Oscar posting the wholesome content.
Yeah, don't know what he's been up to.
No, he's kept it under wraps, but it was nice that his mum commented on that post and said, proud of you, Oscar. No, I am too. I think that's a very worthy cause to get behind. Good on him.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, how sweet. Yeah, that's much more wholesome content than the shirtless thirst traps that Carlos Sainz has been posting of him driving.
And George Russell.
And George Russell, yes.
Does he ever have his shirt on? Let's be real.
You know what? Show off your best features.
Yeah, but Carlos was holidaying with his
bless.
dad, which was so nice, on a super yacht.
Yeah. I think maybe with his whole family, because there was a photo of him holding a child as well, which I think is his niece. So,
yes, I think you're right. Oh, and I did also see that Pierre Gasly has dropped a teaser of a new drink that he's launching.
Yeah. They all seem to be launching beverages as side projects, which I feel like is a good segue into how you can meet drivers.
That is a good segue. Great segue.
Yeah. Segueing into meeting drivers, because I have been living in Europe for 2 and a bit years now. We have done summer holidays in Europe for 3-4 years religiously. And we've been to Monaco, we've been to Cannes, we've been to Villefranche, we've been to all these beautiful Croatia. And in my head, I was like, we're definitely going to see Charles Leclerc walking down the street or driving his Ferrari. Never seen a driver. So I wanted to, I guess, talk to you about meeting drivers, because I know you've met drivers before and I'd never met one.
Well, we've got a story from one of our great listeners. Thank you, Matt Grant, for writing in with a story. He said that the first driver he ever met was Ayrton Senna in 1987.
Oh, wow.
At the British Grand Prix. And he says, I'll just read this out, his message. I was walking down pit lane before the race when it was possible to do so before the dawn of passes. And I noticed that a large section of the crowd were pointing in my direction. And when I turned back to see where I was going, bam, I walked straight into Ayrton. I guess they were pointing at him and not me. He was incredibly kind. He actually apologised and shook my hand, and then he was off. So I didn't really meet him, but literally bumped into him.
Wow, that is so cool. I mean, of all places, in a pit lane seems like a pretty good place to maybe bump into someone.
Yeah.
Wow.
So where else would you meet drivers, Minnie?
Okay, so I have tried accidentally bumping into them in Monaco, and that is not a foolproof plan. So I was looking into some more kind of foolproof ways, and I guess I came like this close to actually meeting or bumping into Max Verstappen and Yuki Tsunoda when I was at the Paddock Club in Bahrain. Obviously, Paddock Club, you don't get access to the actual paddock, that you have to be a guest of the teams or tag heuer or something like that to get access to the garages and all that sort of thing. But often when you're in the paddock, they have like these random little, I guess, not meetings.
Yeah, guest appearances.
That is the word I'm looking for. Thank you. So I came this close to maybe seeing them and meeting them. But I did also make a very big fool of myself by yelling out Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi to Jack Doohan when I saw him walking in the paddock. Very embarrassing, which then makes me think that if I did actually meet a driver, it's probably best I didn't because I don't know what I'd do or say. I'd probably like spontaneously combust or something. I think if you buy Paddock Club tickets, there is a slight chance. Some of the other things that I've seen pop up, we had friends, fellow travel writers who aren't Formula One fans. Oh, what a wasted ticket. No, but they're not Formula One fans, but they got to go to Valtteri Bottas had an event that was promoting his gin in South Australia because he has a gin, Oath Gin, with his girlfriend, Tiffany Cromwell, cyclist, Australian, and they were both there talking. And you could buy tickets to this event. So I feel like these kind of side quest events are a really good thing to keep an eye out for, right?
Also, like Daniel Ricciardo and his Enchante, he's got physical stores and does pop-up stores with that, and sometimes he makes appearances there. So even though he's not on the grid at the moment, we still consider him, an exciting F1 driver to meet for sure.
When the Australian Grand Prix came around this year, you spoke about Charles Leclerc's ambassadorship of Chivas Regal before. He did an event with them. It was a small ticketed event that you could buy tickets to, and he was playing piano at this whiskey event. So, like, imagine just rocking up to this small, intimate event, having some great whiskey, and Charles Leclerc is there playing piano. Like, so they kind of do these really fun little side pop-ups. If you're a long-time F1 fan, there are also lots of things happening. There's a real crossover at the moment between travel and Formula One. A lot of brands are sponsoring, or they are doing F1 adjacent kind of tours or cruises because they know how big this of an opportunity this is for them as a brand. But I know that Celestial Cruises does a cruise this year it's out of Abu Dhabi, but they have David Coulthard on board. And David Coulthard and I think Pinkham is on board as well. And they're doing so they're doing some talks. And I was having a look at the package. It's actually really cool. Like, you get a full weekend pass to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. You get accommodation in Abu Dhabi, and then you get on this cruise where David Coulthard and Natalie Pinkham are, and you do a 5-day cruise of the Middle East. So,
wow.
Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
So
that would be cool.
And I don't know, like, if there's more drivers on board. I mean, I guess it probably wouldn't be current grid. They wouldn't be able to do that, but it's kind of cool having these, like, well-known names, ex-drivers that you can kind of get up close and personal with and hear from and learn from and listen to. So I think the smaller events, that's what the current drivers are kind of popping up at, for gins and wines and clothing brands.
It's their own ventures that they're promoting, or a sponsor venture that they're promoting. I think bumping into a Formula One driver would be really difficult to do unless you were a captain of a super yacht, or I was going to say the booking agent of a super yacht company, but even then that might all be done online and probably done by their people, not by them themselves.
Maybe if you got a summer job working on super yachts, sure.
Gosh, I wish I'd known about that as a option when I was backpacking. I didn't even know that was a thing that existed. So what I would say to anybody that wants to work on super yachts, go and get some hospitality experience, work in the best places you can work, and then you go to Cannes or you go to Monaco and you just walk the planks, basically, the jetties, handing out your CV, ask for a crew job. You could work your way up to being a crew on Max Verstappen's super yacht or Toto Wolff's super yacht or something else.
Yep. Because they both own their own yachts, right? They didn't do a Ocon and do a yacht share or anything.
No, Max has got his own
yachts outright. Yeah. Yeah. I did actually Google, I love Googling super yachts and seeing who owns them and finding out how much they're worth, et cetera, et cetera. And I did Google Toto Wolff's yacht. He bought it in 2023. It was only built in 2021. And apparently it's worth $27 million.
Whoa. So that's about 50 million Australian dollars, not quite, maybe 40 million Australian dollars. Wowzers.
Yeah. And it looks pretty damn lush.
Yeah. And it's just the cost of the yacht, right? Then you've got the operating budget for it. The mooring costs are just so expensive as well. And I mean, crazy. It's another world.
Because, another world that these, private jet flying, super yacht owning Formula One drivers live in. So, and it's interesting, seeing the difference as well between drivers like Max Verstappen with his own private super yacht and own private jet. And, he seems relatively humble. Like, I'll give him that. He seems relatively humble. But, seeing the difference between someone like Max versus someone like, let's say, Liam Lawson, who's very new to the grid in Team RB, still trying to prove himself, and, seeing the difference between A, their incomes, and B, what that affords them.
Yeah.
Kinds of summer holidays that affords them.
Yeah, well, how long's Max been in Formula One? Must be
He was 16, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's had years of that paycheck, which has just gone up and up and up and up, right? Like with every world championship.
But also, Kelly's father is Nelson Piquet. Like, she's not come from the streets of Bunbury.
No,
Like,
I know. You imagine, maybe their daughter might be the first. Little Lily she might be the first Formula One driver on the grid, a descendant of Nelson Piquet and Max Verstappen. Crazy.
Yeah. It just blows my mind. I love talking about all these things, all the behind the scenes of Formula One is what makes it so fun.
It sure does. It sure does. Well, some other news that I've heard, Monique, not great news, but I've heard that Daniel Ricciardo had a motorcycle accident in Queensland and is in hospital. Suspected collarbone injury. That's all I know.
Thank God he is only a collarbone injury because, he is a bit of a rebel on those motorcycles when he's back home in Australia.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves the dirt bike. He loves getting out there amongst it.
But, yeah.
But I did meet Daniel Ricciardo. I did an event where he was the star attraction in Perth. Gosh, was it 2018? Several years ago now. And Daniel Ricciardo and the RB11 car was brought to Perth and raced against a drag car at Wanana Raceway.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. And they also closed St George's Terrace, which is the main street of Perth, and had Daniel Ricciardo do hot laps up and down St George's Terrace. And they also had Alistair McRae in a rally car, a few other rally cars. They had a couple of V8 supercars as well. But the main attraction was the F1.
DR,
yeah. Working with him, I was the PR, the publicist for that event. And working with Daniel he's just the true professional, like really amenable, really nice, like as you would expect, we're seeing him online. But because this event was really targeted to, locals and selling tickets to come to the event, the local media in Perth are not Formula One experts. So yeah.
Sorry.
And this is actually pre-Drive to Survive. So it was before Formula One mania that we're in at the moment. Daniel, in every interview, he was being asked the same mundane, basic kind of questions.
How fast is a Formula One car guy?
Oh no, there was a bit of conjecture at the time about Red Bull. So they were asking him some questions about that, but they were just really kind of basic questions. And I was in the background doing an eye roll like, oh my God, not this question again, for God's sake, can't they think of something more original? But Daniel would just look the reporter in the eye and answer the question like it was the first time he'd ever heard it, and just really sincerely, really genuinely. And I just take my hat off to him. I was like, wow, you're very professional.
I guess it shows why he gets so many deals then, because not only does he have this kind of, effervescent personality, which at times can make you think that he's unprofessional, but he's absolutely not. Clearly, when behind the scenes, he is the guy that's like, got to get this done. This is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I will give you what you've come for. Let's do this. Like, good on him, as opposed to someone like Max Verstappen.
Yeah, who just doesn't entertain stupid questions. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I also met Mark Webber as well. That was another Formula One driver I met, again, at another event, a Red Bull event. It was when the Red Bull Air Race was being held in Perth, which was a race of small planes that would, as a sport, it was like really hard to follow. No one really knew the rules, but as a spectacle, it was fantastic. They see all these planes flying through these massive inflatable pillars that were on the river. So you had the city in the backdrop.
I remember this.
Yeah. So they had 100,000 people on the, on the South Perth foreshore. It was a massive deal over a weekend. And Mark Webber was there as part of being part of the Red Bull family. And I felt really sorry for him, actually, because he was in the hospitality VIP area and just sitting in the corner of the marquee as far away from anybody as he could possibly be. And he was just on his phone. Like, he just clearly was forced to be there and did not want to be there. Yeah, I went up and said hello.
I wonder why.
I said, well, I mean, if you're forced to be somewhere and you don't want to be somewhere, like, you're not going to be stoked, are you, spending your time?
Yeah, but it's your job.
Well, he was
anyway.
he was very unhappy that day. I did go up to him because Mark Webber, of course, grew up in Queanbeyan, which is just outside of Canberra. So I went up to him and said, "Oh, you're from Queanbeyan, and I knew Queanbeyan quite well." Yeah, he just did not engage. Yeah.
Oh, boo. Bad day? Maybe it was a bad day.
Maybe it was a bad day. He was not, like I said, not engaged. It wasn't just me. He wasn't engaging with anyone.
Yeah, well, at least you've met some drivers.
Yeah, and one more. Australia's last Formula One champion, Alan Jones, who won the championship in 1980. He was also part of this Daniel Ricciardo. It was motorsport festival that was being held in Perth. So yeah, I met Alan Jones, and he's a lovely chap, very chatty, very amenable. Yes, he did a heap of interviews when I asked him to. He was great to work with.
Oh, I love that you've met like all these Australian Formula One drivers. Maybe that's another way that people can meet Formula One drivers is work for the brands that work with Formula One.
Working for brands that are associated with Formula One is also a good way to get into Formula One and work for a team or Formula One itself or the FIA if that's something that you wanted to do. Well, it's been super fun talking about drivers and holidays and, still talking about Formula One but not talking about race wins and what's happened on track.
Yeah, keeping up with the Joneses.
And I would be on a super yacht as well. Like, why not? What a lovely way to spend a holiday.
It's been super fun. So if you guys enjoyed what you've listened to or watched, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can like, comment, rate, do all of that fun stuff on any of our episodes. You can also find us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Or you can email us at andawaywegof1podcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we do love hearing from our listeners, and it gives us a massive thrill when, especially on YouTube, where every little like and every little comment really helps get our content more eyeballs. Thanks in advance for supporting our podcast. I hope you enjoy listening as much as we enjoy creating it. Thank you, Monique, and thank you for having us in your ears. Until next week, and until lights out.
It's lights out and away we go!
And Away We Go podcast is produced by Diane Bortoletto and Monique Ciccato.
Let's do it.